Viewers, welcome again to another edition of the Coach's Desk with host Coach Minzy. And we just want to have a little discussion, people. There has been a lot of things that are being said about football in Jamaica, the lack of development, and what the different sectors should be doing to ensure that football is developed in the country. I just want to share my few suggestions on a template that I believe could assist. Everything is not carved in stones. I just giving my suggestion. I'm not the all and be all where football is concerned, and I'm not the repository of all knowledge. So I'm just sharing my suggestion, which I believe could assist with a little tweaking and so forth. First and foremost, people, I do believe that sports in Jamaica is not seen as a big business, as a viable business. Sports is just seen as mere recreation. And it's now high time that we get away from that notion, from that standard that sports is just recreation. Sports indeed is a big business right across the world. They check other countries and there are big money spending when it comes on to sport. When you hire a coach, you spend big money. When you draft or you sign a player, it's big money. A whole lot of effort is put into sports, where the development is concerned, where the running of sports is concerned. So I want people to now start think business when they refer to sports, and not just mediocre, and not just running up and down, and not just for recreation, people and entertainment. That part of it will come, but the nitty-gritty of it is that it is indeed a viable business. And until we see it that way, then it doesn't matter what the suggestion is given. It doesn't matter what I put forth or other person's great sports mind put forth. Then definitely it will never occur until the mindset of the people actually change where sports is concerned. So in terms of development of football in Jamaica, people, I do believe that the first thing, like I said, they need to start treat football as a viable business, because persons actually can make a career out of football. You know what I mean? So it's important. That's just a first step. It's just to change the mindset of the people. The mind controls the body. So I do believe that if the mind is at a place where it can see that it is viable, then aspects of the game will actually change. How people approach it, all of this will take into account. Now, one other thing that I do believe that could also enable or aid the development of football in this country is that we could develop football administrators who will go on practicum in places across Europe so they can understand what happens in the mecca of football. So in other words, what I'm saying, people, is that we don't just put persons who has nothing to do with sports, who know nothing about sports, in administrative position. It is critical that persons who go in these positions are actually persons who love sports, persons who possibly are involved in sports. Whether they used to be player, former player, current player, or so forth, or persons who would have been around sports for decades. So it can't be a case where these persons aren't able to play their part in the development of the sports. Also, whenever you have industry persons, what they do, they send them out on furloughs so that these persons can get quite of aid to the happenings of the industry. So if football administrators are developed, then they should also be sent out to do practicums, rub shoulders with big wigs of football, how they operate a club, how they do their administrative work inside out. So that, I believe, would be important in moving football forward in Jamaica. Another point is that our coach education, I do believe, should be now meeting international standard. Also, the coaches could be also be sent out on practicums. You understand? So these courses that are being done in Jamaica, they are good. But one of the problem is that coaches just settle for these courses, and they don't enhance themselves. So if the coaches want to do better in the sport, they'd have to do self-development. And of course, self-actualization is also key in any aspect of your life. So coaches shouldn't only rely on the JFF putting on courses and ensure that they're educated. They should go do research. They can even go overseas. Ensure that they get on board to do one of these courses and so forth. So this is very, very, very important, people. You know, persons talk about being remunerated when they spend a lot of money to get these licenses and so forth. Yes, that is an issue. But one of the things also, people, is that if you don't want to be good coaches in your country, then if you're talking about remuneration, then you can go overseas, seek jobs and all of that, and you'll be rewarded for the money that you'd have spent to get your coach's education. One other thing that also I believe that there are some former players, people. I should have mentioned that in the development of football administration. There are some former players who now they are involved in sports administration abroad. They are involved in coaching at academies. And I believe that there should be a case where these persons would have served the country well, would have played international football, they would have gotten their licensing from various associations, and they should be brought back to the country to help develop. How are we going to compete when our great footballers are actually in another country or other countries actually developing those countries' youth programs? The JFF or the powers that be should engage these individuals, lure them to come home, get persons to sponsor them in order for them to get their pay package. You understand? To ensure that they come back to the country. Whether it is given to the national programs, all levels, whether it is given back to the development of the Premier League or so forth. But these players can't, past players, can't be there developing other countries' football, and our football is in the country suffering. Where is the vision? Where are these people looking? Can't they look out and see that these players are important to us? Can they engage these players to come back? Some even say, people, that they will come and work for free. But a lot of times these things are turned down. I can't imagine this, people. Now, another thing that is critical, people, is the pitch or the surface development. We can't use the same field to train on to have competitive games. I know it's going to take a lot of money. No, this is where the marketing comes in. This is where the sponsorship comes in. This is where these persons would have to now take a risk, because doing sports, any business, any viable business, you have to take a huge risk. We need to develop our fields. It can't be a case where you're playing on a football field, people, and then it is loaded with patches, with bumps and all of that, and persons are unable to control a football. They're unable to pass a ball correctly or accurately. Come on, these fields need, if we can only just play some double headers at fields or parks that are well developed, then this could also enable our football's development. So we need to pay attention to our surfaces. We need to. How about getting in contact with some schools? Ensure that you use the field. You give them a little stipend. That will also help their football program and all of that. Come on, come on. Things can happen, people. We have to be critical thinkers. We have to think outside of the box to ensure that development takes place. Another thing that I look at is that more academies that are formal institutions that will also teach core subjects as well as a football curriculum. So we need more football academies. We need more institutions that will teach football as well as the core subjects. So when they leave these institutions, it's not only getting a football certification, but they will also be enhanced academically. You understand? So we need these things to happen. We need more academies. And these academies should actually be run by persons who are qualified, both administratively and as coaches. You understand? One other thing also, people, is that in terms of clubs. You understand? All clubs should have a youth program that should be mandatory. Clubs could adopt a school initiative so youngsters will be linked with clubs. That is also things that can be done. You know what is interesting also, you see at the primary level, many times these coaches are not qualified enough in terms of teaching the youngsters development. They are not taught the tactical aspect of the game. All that happens is that you assemble a team to play a competition in order to win the competition. So it is a win at all cost mentality, and that needs to stop. We need to get the best coaching minds at the developmental stage. Yes, that needs to happen, people. So if we need to certify the primary school coaches, if we need to ensure that they have these certification, these qualification before they can teach, then this could be looked into. You see, above average talents should be in freaking camps at the Federation Academy. So in other words, the Federation should have academies. Now, when we see the talents, the top talents in the country, they should be a part of the academy of the Jamaica Football Federation. So what will happen there is that they are taught the philosophy of the federation. So these tactics, these systems of play will be introduced to these players. Say, for example, they have periodically they will have camps to ensure that they do video watching, how to learn the system. They play it practically, how to learn the system. So every single youngster who would be a part of the national teams coming up, they will understand that the national team plays this sort of system. And this is the system that you play when you are a part of the national team. And it could be more than one system. You understand? So these are the things that should be done, people. I believe, in my estimation, this is coaches' estimation. These are the things that can be done to enhance football in the country. I do believe it can work. I know that there are other brilliant minds out there that can add some things to this that will also put things into perspective. Definitely, I do strongly believe, people, that these methods, these suggestions that I pointed out can actually aid in football development in Jamaica. It's going to take a lot of money. Trust me. People, it's now high time that we realize and recognize that sports cost a lot. Any sport development, it costs a lot. So now is the time to go out, get sponsors to aid in the development. You understand? We are in the 21st century. We are in the time of GoFundMe programs. We are in the time of social medias that can be monetized. People, it can be done. Put things into perspective, powers that be, because if we don't put things into perspective, we will continue to have the raw talent, but they will not be enhanced. Only a handful will move from the stage that they are to the next level. Thanks again, people, for tuning into the Coach's Desk. I await your comment down below in the comment section. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Out.